Hey guys, welcome. I'm Pascal from Orange Pixel, and this is the second part video about publishers, and there will be a third part. The first part I talked about me having to decide if I want to go with a publisher or not with my next game. I have made that decision, but I'm not really fully there yet because I'm just talking to a publisher right now because I had made the decision to go with a publisher. So now there's a lot of stuff that needs to be sorted out and see if there's a match. There is at least one publisher interested, so we're talking, and that will be part 3 of this series. Today's video will be about publishers because I had a lot, and I mean like a lot of questions from mostly other game developers, obviously, about publishers and what makes a good publisher, what makes a bad publisher, what should you look in a publisher, what... We're gonna talk about all those things in today's video. Okay, so first thing first, obviously there are two types of publishers, good publishers and bad publishers. First, the bad publishers. Basically, I call these distributors. They're not bad people, they're just not very capable of being a publisher, and they're not capable of doing much more than you could do yourself. They're mostly the lazy man's publisher. Basically what they do is mail press, mail YouTubers, influencers, upload the game to the store and release it. You can do those things yourself. It takes a lot of work, but if your game is done and you have a couple of days left, you can do all those things yourself as well. You can mail press, you can mail YouTubers or chase them or find them, whatever. You can also upload the game to the marketplace and all those things. Not everybody likes doing those things, so if you don't like doing those things, go with the publisher that are basically distributors and do those type of things. So how do you know if it's a bad publisher? Most of the time they won't really have any big titles in their catalog, so that's one. They will have a lot of silly smaller type games because those are easier to get for them. Again, it's not that they're bad, it's just that they're not much further on the ladder than you are when it comes to promoting or releasing games. They might have had 1 or 2 great games released, and they will lift on that and just expand their catalog by taking your games and publishing it onto various stores. So they're not bad, and if you're very lazy and don't want to do all those things yourself, screenshots, store pages, contacting the press, YouTubers, all those things, if you don't like it, you can go with any of these publishers. They will do it very well because that's what they do, but don't expect them to do all the stuff that good publishers do. Which brings us to good publishers. A good publisher does a lot more. It does, obviously, they do the same type of things, but they will also show your game at big events like GDC or PAX or whatever there is. They will take your game on tour, show it everywhere, and try to contact influencers more directly. They should also be interested or not shy of putting money into the project, so helping you with stuff like translation or getting artwork made, getting music done. They should at least give you the option. So even in the good publishers, there are still two types of good publishers. You have the promoting and marketing side publisher. You probably know some of these. They have the outstanding, the weird, the silly, and the very marketable games that are always a little bit different, and that's also the type of games they are interested in. If your game doesn't have anything special or specific or unique like a graphic style or a very weird gameplay feature, they're not taking your game because that's not what they're looking for, because that would only make their job harder. They want something that's very marketable and very easy to promote. It's still a lot of work and they still do a great job, something you can't do yourself, but they're really looking for a specific type of game, and these type of publishers were not looking for my type of game, because as fun as my game is, it's not that unique or very interesting. It doesn't have that weird little game mechanic, and that's fine because not all games need to be that silly. There are a lot of games that are not that silly or arty and more normal, and that's another business. Which brings us to the other great publishers, and they have more brute force or grinding powers. They have huge distribution networks, and that's where their power is. They can push a lot of game content. They have huge mailing lists. They have contacts with other markets besides Steam, because there are a lot of other markets for PC games. They have other markets for Android games because there's a lot more than Google Play. Those type of publishers are more interested in just good games. They don't really need the little marketing, twitchy, weirdy, fun little projects. They are interested in good quality games. I had more luck with contacting those type of publishers for my game, basically because my game would fit a lot more in their catalog. So those are the other great publishers. Those are the two options you have. So if your game has something very unique, like an extremely unique graphic style or a gameplay feature that has never been seen before and is very interesting, then try to contact some of these promotion and marketing powerful publishers. And you can easily spot the difference between these publishers by just checking out their website. Look at the type of games they are publishing. One publisher will have all these little weird famous indie games that are very different from anything you've seen before. Other publishers have more bigger quality type, decent, bigger games that you also seen before. If there are just games that you've never heard of, that's not a good publisher. That's probably a bad publisher, and that's just fine if you want somebody to distribute your game, but that's not a good publisher at all. You can do all that work yourself if you're not too lazy. So I've contacted a variation of these good publishers. Some of them took 4 weeks just to reply that they weren't interested in the game. Others didn't reply at all. That happens. Eventually I started talking with one of the publishers I know from way back, and they already distributed some of my games back in the day before iPhone. They're also distributing some of my Android games on various other markets. So we're now talking, and we'll see where this ends up. Can't say much about it just yet because we're still talking and nothing's confirmed yet, and maybe they'll say no after all, or maybe I'll just say no after all, depending on what we end up with as agreement. But that will be a great filler for a third video, and that also ends this video. So if you have more questions about publishers, let them know below because I gladly answer them. But for now I need to play Tetris 99, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye. I should have thrown it like that's harder than you think. You see, it's just, I tried.